racism and discrimination in all its forms. Second blow of the whistle gets us underway. One win each, 3 points each for these two teams as they meet here at the King Power. Pass forward, drops all the way to Leipzig. Back to the German keeper again for the home side. Looks like the conditions have improved, certainly since yesterday. Quite windy and rainy across large parts of Britain. Brian Sorensen cutting a casual figure on the sidelines. And it's brought down by the chest of Kitagawa. Everton quickly into the box. Really nice delivery from that left-hand side, but Leicester are able to deal with it. But an energetic start from the visitors, Nia.
Yeah, and it's something that I think the home side, Leicester City, will be really determined to overturn in these early stages. They're the team that have conceded the most goals, equal to West Ham, in the opening 30 minutes. So it will be a big focus of theirs to start better. But as you said, Emma, Everton in control in the opening couple of minutes.
Forward from Stenovic. Doesn't quite roll its way to Momicki. Tierney with McLaughlin. Ale. Now the turnover. This puts Everton on the front foot. But nothing much to bother Leipzig there.
And that's where they can be much more clinical from those counter-attacking positions. We saw how well they did in that department against Liverpool on the opening day, Everton.
Yeah, what a way to start the season. A win against Liverpool. It's always one to mark with a highlighter in the record books. Little clip on Kitagawa. One of the 3 changes to this Everton side for Brian Sorensen. Formerly played in Sweden with Häcken, and this her first WSL start of the season.
It's an interesting decision, and Everton are the team that have made the most changes so far this season to their starting lineup, and eyebrows have been raised from the Everton fans not to see Maz Pacheco in the lineup. He's been bright, the new signing at left back, had the most shots and the highest XG, if that's what you're into in the last fixture, so big boots to fill.
Everybody loves an XG. Mace, one of the former Leicester players in this Everton side, one of the players behind this. But it's Momicki, the other one, who takes it, and the free kick that goes wide. And I think Everton were rather hoping that had gone out for a corner.
Yeah, Ale did well, though. As useful as she is offensively from that left wing-back position, she's also very astute with the defensive responsibilities. Did well to stay goal side.
Momicki with the corner, short to Mace. And just shepherded out. Then being the goal for the home side.
Yeah, a bit of a waste in the end from Everton. Defenders had made the long journey up for the cross.
Yeah, thanks for that. I've got to track all the way back. Ale. Ball comes in field. Van Egmond. Might be a bit of space on this right wing. Captain collects. Clearance comes back into midfield. Forward by Keiman again. Being chased by Vignola. He might well have a statue at some stage after her introduction to the Women's Super League with that hat-trick.
She absolutely lit up the opening day, didn't she? But since then, only scored 1 goal, Everton. So she'll be key to that as well. Katie Robinson down the right-hand side. Tony Payne, we've seen there as well, who's full of creativity as well. But the Aston Villa loanee has got potential to be a real fan favourite here.
England international, of course. Defeats in their last league games for both of these sides, but slim defeats, Neil, which almost makes it more frustrating, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think this league is getting more and more competitive every single week, and it is those fine margins that you see in separate the best from the rest, really. And these two teams got really similar records so far this season. 1 win, 3 losses, 8th against 7th in the league. So both will be eyeing up this fixture as almost a must-win, which sounds crazy to say at this stage of the season, but it really is.
Leipzig. Leicester able to get it into the Everton half, but be rolled back to Emily Ramsey, who's in goal for them, of course, at the moment. No Courtney Brosnan for the visitors. And Brian Sorensen really having to deal with several injuries at the moment, which has probably affected that team selection you were mentioning, and the fact that he's had to kind of look at his whole squad, really, in terms of who he plays from match to match. It's going to be a throw-in for Janice Keiman to take. "36 years old now. She turns 37 on the 12th of October. I say that as if it's old. It's very young. It's old for a footballer, but not even these days. It kind of isn't, with the joys of sports science and everything that players do.
No, she's a brilliant professional, 2-time Champions League winner, still full of energy and vital experience in this Leicester team as well.
Yeah, what a player to have in your defence. Mamiki is the player who's down. Looks like a knock that she will attempt to shake off rather than requiring too much medical attention. Joined Everton at the end of her contract with Leicester. Got a goal from the penalty spot in what ended up being a defeat to London City Lionesses, the first win of the season for the newly promoted side. Here with Kitagawa. Leicester try and play it forward, picked up by Mace. Who I remember from her Arsenal days.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching Ruby May. She's a proper midfielder, if you like. She takes just as much pride in her defensive work and breaking up play in the centre of the pitch as she does in getting a team on the front foot and playing forward passes. So she's a massive scoop for Everton to get in the off-season, and a big loss for Leicester City as well. I'm just keeping an eye on Katie Robinson down the right-hand side. There's been a few times where she looks really frustrated not to be given the ball in behind. She's making some really good runs, so only a matter of time, I think, for Everton before they spot it.
Well, it's Leicester making the run now. Players waiting inside the box. Bypasses them, though. I think Van Egmond was waiting for that cross from the wing.
Yeah, it's good footwork from the Welsh international, Hannah Kane, and good to see fluidity in the movement of the Leicester forwards. She vacated the striker position. We see Sam Tierney and Van Egmond busting a gut to get in there. That's what Leicester need to do more of.
Mentioning former Leicester players in the Everton side, Hannah Kane spent a couple of seasons at Everton. Tierney to take the free kick. Swaby, her first league start of the season. Stenovic back to Ramsey. Lifted up the pitch. Is the flag going to stay down? It isn't. We mentioned how keen Katie Robinson is, and she was just a bit too keen that time.
Yeah, she was, but again, I think she'll feel frustrated because she wanted the ball way, way sooner. And the longer they hold on to it, the Everton back line, the deeper the Leicester players get, so there's less space for her in behind when they do decide to play it.
Swaby. Everton's header ends up with Tierney. Tierney with the pass to Kane. Little twist and turn from her. The shot, though, ends up coming off the hip of one of the Everton defenders. It will, though, go out for a corner, the first corner of this first half for the home side.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hopeful ball forward, but that girl there, Sam Tierney, alive to it in midfield. Picked up the second ball, made a good through ball to Hannah Kane as well. I wanted to see Hannah Kane just be braver in that situation, really take on Stenovic and get a shot off a bit sooner.
So first corner of the game for Leicester City. Tierney to take. Short from her. In. And I think appeals for the last contact have been made by an Everton player. Was it Mace who got the touch? Certainly, the referee is saying that's corner number 2 for Leicester City.
I think it was. Not much appeal from Ruby Mace either. It was a really good, inventive corner from Leicester. Everybody expected it to swing in under Emily Ramsey's crossbar, but good delivery from Kane.
Thibault was the player who was there, and it'll be a corner, another corner. This one, Kane is behind. Rantala. Liking these short corners so far, I think at both ends of the pitch. Something I know Barcelona like to do. So if you're going to replicate another team...
I'm not sure that's who Rick Passmore watches prior to his matchday prep, but you never know.
Why not? Yeah, you mentioned Rick Passmore as Ruby Mace goes down and maybe is picked up a little bit of a knock there. Actually, I think the ball just hit the back of her head, didn't it, from a Leicester player. So she's being checked on. Rick Passmore coming in as interim manager. The former Leicester City manager was sacked just 10 days before the start of the new season. Rick Passmore, who'd been an assistant with Rhiann Skinner at West Ham, but has moved to Leicester. His family are based, aren't they, closer to Leicester, so family reasons for that. But a change of manager right at the start of this season, how does that affect you as a player, do you think?
Oh, massively. There's no two ways about it. It would have been a very, very turbulent pre-season for the players, full of uncertainty. some players would have headed there intentionally to work with Amandine Mikel, and then all of a sudden new philosophies are coming in, new game plans, but not even with a manager that you know is definitely going to stay there. So I think a decision needs to be made by those above at Leicester sooner rather than later about whether Rick Passmore is staying permanently or not. He's hugely experienced in the women's game, formerly Notts County, Leeds United as well. So I think he really has steadied the ship, and the players seem to really respond to his instruction.
I suppose this is his audition, isn't it, at the moment? And as we've seen, if the interim manager does a good job, they can keep the job full time. Everton playing out from the back. Maybe they ought to just launch this a little bit further up the pitch.
Yeah, you can see applause from Julie Thibault as well. Really happy with the press that she saw teammates putting on them, forced the error from Everton.
With Swaby to Tierney. Weren't quite sure, I have to say, how Leicester were going to line up with the players that, the changes that they've made, but it looks like Swaby's maybe in the middle of a back three.
Yeah, she is, with Thibault and Keys either side of her, so she's coming in as almost like the sweeper in between them, but she's very astute on the ball as well, so we'll see a lot of it, and will act almost a little bit like a quarterback when they're trying to build up Swaby. She's a big, imposing figure as well, so she'll be useful in both boxes and set pieces.
Jamaican international, new last season. Previously played her football in France, also had some time at Rangers. Thibault. Back to Leipzig. Out to the French defender. Shut down, and it'll go out of play off Hayashi. Ale. Now with Wheeler. This multi-ball game means that the throw-in is taken very quickly, and it's quickly up the pitch. And Kane is chasing it. Ramsey kneels down to pick up the ball, but quick movement from Leicester City. Good vision there, really, to try and find Hannah Kane quickly.
Yeah, good technique, little half volley over the top from Van Egmond. Emily Ramsey well positioned in the end to come out and deal with it, but good to see Hannah Kane really playing on the last shoulder. She's got frightening pace with space in front of her, so they know they can use her as an outlet if they need to.
Saw Sam Tierney there, who scored in Leicester City's last game. It means she scored 9 goals in the Women's Super League. She's the first Leicester City player to reach 100 appearances as well for the club. An important part of this Leicester City side. Swaby is trying to stop the pressure from Vignola, who would have been in her peripheral vision. Now it's forward again. Kitagawa's high up the pitch. Did she keep the ball in play? I thought that might have gone out, actually, before she was able to cut it back.
I think you're right, but Swaby, fantastic defending 1v1 against Vignola. That's no easy feat because she has got wheels, Vignola, but also just to get herself back into the 6-yard box and deal with that cutback. Good positioning.
We're heading up to the 20th minute of this game, and just reminding myself that no team has conceded more goals in the opening 30 minutes of a WSL game so far this season than Leicester. So keeping it to 0-0 in the early stages of this game is just as important, isn't it? Foundations of success come from good defence. Here it's with Wheeler. Kitagawa. Now with Mace. Forward from Fernandez. Ale just stands in Robinson's way. There was no way through.
No, there isn't. That's exactly what Brian Sorensen spoke about in his pre-match interview. He knew Leicester would be disciplined in their shape. They are a back three, but when they need to, they do go very easily into that low brack. They bring back Asmita Ale and also Cayman as well, helping out on the other side. So they become almost like a back five. Everybody but Hannah came back in their own defensive third, helping out.
Forward from Everton. This time the flag stays down as Robinson collects. Robinson was hoping to find Vignola. It'll go out for a corner in the end, I think.
Yeah, she's frustrated with her own cutback. She applauds the through ball. She's been dying for that all game, but there was just nobody really getting across the front post. You could see she was itching to put it into that corridor of uncertainty. Good defended again by Swaby. She is the one, I think, Katie Robinson, if they're going to break the deadlock, Everton, they need to feed her more down the right-hand side.
They've got a corner. It's another one taken short. And leads to another blow of the referee's whistle. So a corner that comes to nothing. You're looking as perplexed as...
I'm relying on you to...
Yeah. Well, Everton had a corner, and then the referee blew a whistle, and the ball is back with Leicester.
She's spotted a little foul in the box, maybe.
Quickly forwards for Leicester City. Ball out to Ale. Roll to Kane. Now it's a low drive to the far post. Sliding in was Cayman, up from the back. And initially it looked as if Leicester had extra players, really. But then Everton were very quickly back to make sure they just had a bit more support in front of Emily Ramsey's goal.
Certainly did. Ale was in acres of space on the left, but good tackle by Katie Robinson to prevent it.
Forward again. Oh, just stopped from finding its way to Hannah Kane. That was a really important block at the back. Now with Keys. Cayman. I think Leicester have got their latest corner, and they've gone up a gear in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, they really have, and it's the role of the wing backs in the system that they're playing. So we spoke about Cayman and Ale having to track back and really become extra defenders in a back five, but now we see they're the outlet, actually. They're the extra player down the flanks for Leicester.
Corner in the shades. Flicked on at the near posts. Ends up going all the way out. Van Egmond with the header, obviously hoping to find one of her teammates behind her.
Yeah, it's really well worked, and she's so strong in the air, Van Egmond. I think she's trying to flick it on for a teammate, but actually got a little bit too much on it, but scored a great goal in their only victory so far this season against the other Merseyside team.
And it was a header.
It was. Good variety in this first half from Leicester on set pieces, though. Played some short, but that one just straight to the front post.
Momiki and Kitagawa both get touches. Leicester putting the pressure on here.
And they got away with that one. Poor ball infield from Fernandez. Again, the courage from Leicester to press this high. We've not seen this for large periods in their previous matches, so you can see the influence that Passmore is having on them on the training pitch.
Yeah, Everton are struggling to get the ball out. They eventually do, but only to see it headed back by Swaby. Swaby to Rantala. Now with home guards. Pass picked up by Leicester. Tierney's dispossessed and Robinson's desperate to get to this ball. She wanted to get there even though it looked like a lost cause long before she started racing for that pass.
Yeah, good timing on the pass on the release from Mimiki. She recognised she needed to put it way ahead of Robinson, but Swaby again equal to it, showing really good pace at the back to sweep up.
Everton with the throw. Vignola's there. Maybe a chance to put in a cross. Come back for another opportunity. This looks good. The header goes wide from Kitagawa. Little bit of space there for the defender.
Oh, she did everything right. When it comes to, I think it's Vignola who delivers at the end. It's a good old-fashioned 1v1. Came in just about enough. She headers it back to where it came from, which is what you're supposed to do, but doesn't quite get her angles right.
Fernandez. Looks like a very pleasant Sunday afternoon in Leicester, although there's still a little bit of wind just blowing around. Ball with Van Egmond. Van Egmond and the leap from Rantala just not quite timed as I'm sure she would have hoped.
No, but she was demanding the ball, which is exciting for the Leicester fans here. Van Egmond is growing into the game as the half wears on as well. But I've been really impressed with Leicester's press so far. You can see Hannah Kane is really the trigger. Van Egmond is in support as well, and they really are going together as a collective group and forcing long, wasteful balls from Everton, which ultimately, exactly like that, just wins them possession back.
As if on cue.
That never happened.
To demonstrate exactly what you were talking about. The clearance doesn't take the ball too far, but Everton will try and take it further away. And now perhaps a chance to break. Another one out to Robinson on that wing. Thibault trying to pull her wide. Robinson's able to get the cross in. And Vignola just sort of ended up rolling that, really, rather than much more. The Leicester City defence makes sure that it's picked up by their goalkeeper. Well, that seemed fairly fair to me, but referee's whistle goes.
Well, that's just pure frustration from Katie Robinson. Both maybe at her own end product, but also the lack of service that she's had, because as we've said, she has been demanding the ball almost constantly in this opening half an hour. And slowly but surely, Mamiki especially is the one who's found her 2 or 3 times now, but I have to say Leicester probably edging it just about.
Yeah, there's no doubt they're looking for Katie Robinson, as you say, Mamiki in particular. Taken away from Van Egmond. Now, if you're expecting a goal fest this afternoon, history would suggest otherwise. This fixture averages the fewest goals per game in any WSL fixture. I'm sorry. But just 1 goal will do. Swaby to Keats. Forward from Tierney. Controlled by Holmgart.
Was won back really well by Liv McLaughlin there, or loose in the end from Keys.
Little clip on the running Everton player, Thibault. Oh, she's getting a card for that, I think, as well.
I don't think she got the ball, but I also don't think Katie Robinson was going to get on the end of this little tap that she gets a little nutmeg in the end.
So the first player in the book, Thibault. Mamiki and Mace again waiting behind another set piece for Everton. Mace leaves it for Mamiki. Low ball in. Attempt to lay it back from Stenovic. And now the flag is up. An offside in that move.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Everton that Holmgart didn't get herself back onside during the second wave.
If you are Everton, I mean, if you're either of these sides, but obviously Everton have lost their last 3 in a row. As a player, are you slightly tenser? Are you slightly more? Are you more concerned about conceding than you are about thinking about scoring a goal? How do you feel as a player under those circumstances?
I think looking at these two sides here, given the fact they're in very similar league positions, they've had very almost identical records so far, 3 losses, 1 win. Leicester look like they're really enjoying this. They want to get on the ball. They're trying to link up with each other. They're taking pride in their defensive responsibilities. I'm looking at the body language of the Everton players. They don't look at all on the same wavelength, and that's to be expected with lots of signings in the off-season. Sorensen often reminds us of that. 8 new players brought in, quite short notice, with some of them 5 big injuries out at the minute as well, but he himself is still very much working out his best 11, and that is evidently showing on the pitch with a little bit of inconsistency.
As you say, new players, injured players, young players as well. They've named the youngest starting lineup on average in the Women's Super League this season. So he's had to make some decisions based on changes to his squad. As you say, players who are missing as much as the new signings. Mickey with another free kick. Thibaut with the header to take it away for Leicester City. Yes, I think Leicester at the moment, certainly no doubt that they're the home side. They seem the more confident of the two teams. As here it's with Wheeler. What's her role this afternoon, Wheeler? She seems to be all over the place.
Yeah, and we saw her the last time out for Everton playing as a right back, and it didn't go too well in their last fixture against Brighton and Hove Albion. So she is very astute, both in defence but also in the back line. But I think she is filling in as almost like a left-sided player. The more we see Kitagawa pushing on in the absence of Maz Pacheco, but it's an inverted midfield position for Wheeler, which is what she's more used to. Haven't seen her enough on the ball.
Everton's last game, that loss away against Brighton. Michelle Adjaman, you might have heard of her, scoring her first goal back on loan for a second season from Arsenal with Brighton.
That's what I mean, that just epitomises them being on a different wavelength. So Vignola had strayed offside, which is why Katie Robinson tried to play the ball back into midfield. But if Vignola just holds her run, there was acres of space for her to run in behind, which is exactly how she scored that brilliant hat-trick at Anfield. I think the reason they were so effective in that match is because they spent large periods without the ball. Liverpool dominated, enabled them to hit Liverpool on the break. In this game, it's a little bit more even in terms of exchanging blows, of controlling possession, and they just don't seem connected in how they want to attack Everton.
The pass this time intended, I'm sure, for Kitagawa. And is that about working on the training ground? Is that about these players needing to start anticipating each other's movements a bit more, do you think?
Yeah, and I'm not sure they've got the right balance in terms of who's playing where. They're trying to get their best players onto the pitch, but actually Hayashi is probably better suited in one of the 10 positions next to Mamiki, both very technical, creative players. And you probably need more of an out-and-out wide player on the left-hand side, much like you do have Katie Robinson down the right-hand side, but as you say, injuries might play a part in that. Don't really have a physical presence up front. Vignola has pace, but not really dominant in the box if they want to deliver the ball.
Well, she's just in her own half as she finds that ball out to Robinson. Ale again is the player who stands her ground for Leicester City. Keeping a close eye, isn't she, Ale, on Katie Robinson so far this afternoon.
And it's a good battle to keep our eye on for fans watching at home, but important that Robinson doesn't lose heart from taking her on. Keep feeding her the ball, keep trying it, because it's going to come off once or twice.
Well, that's the thing. She's been slightly frustrated this afternoon, but try again. It might pay off. Kitagawa comes up. Suddenly has 3 Leicester City players in front of her. Comes back to Fernandez. Former Barcelona player, scored on her Champions League debut. Probably in some 11-0 win or something. As you can see, 5 minutes before the break. Will there be a goal in this game before half-time? Rantala back to Swaby. Forward from Thibaut. Kane is there. challenges by Martina Fernandez.
Yeah, it was good footwork, and I've been impressed with Kane's play so far in this half. I've been critical of her in the past for shying away from physical hold-up play, but she's come to feet quite regularly in this half, with Van Egmond then running on behind her, and she's had some really nice touches.
Little chat about where this free kick might find its way. Taken by Tierney. I think Holmgaard was saying that didn't go out off me, it went out off Thibaut. It will be a goal kick.
Yeah, you're not convincing any of us there. I think Holmgaard, good defending in the end. Thibaut was the intended target.
So Everton with a bit more of the ball in this first half so far. But I think maybe Leicester have made the better of the possession they've had. Would you agree?
I'd absolutely agree, but also they've been quite content with Everton trying to play out from the back because they're setting intentional traps.
Wheeler to Kitagawa. Now a delivery from the wing. Everton players trying to get something on that. It was almost going to bounce down onto a shoulder or something. It was really spinning quite awkwardly.
Yeah, and if you watch Liv McLaughlin and Sam Tierney, they bust a gut to get back whenever there's the potential of a threatening Everton attack. They take such pride in their teamwork from that sense, but really wicked ball from the left-hand side from Mamiki again. She's been Everton's brightest player.
Headed away by Ale. Now Robinson brought down. It'll be a free kick for Everton late on in this first half. This is a chance to play in Robinson. Robinson in on goal! I think she's frustrated with herself and she's saying that her shirt was being pulled there. It looked like it just opened up. Katie Robinson.
There's nothing in that from Ale like she's claiming. I think you're exactly right. She's frustrated that it didn't end up in the back of the net for Everton, but really, really good move. The first time we've seen her make an underlapping run with Vignola.
Taken out off the legs of Leipzig, and that was just as I was about to say that neither goalkeeper had really had a save to make. Here it's with Holmgaard. That's what Katie Robinson has been waiting for large parts of this first half to receive. Here it's with Kay. Can't imagine there'll be a huge amount of time added on at the end of this first half, so we'll wait for confirmation of exactly how much stoppage time there will be in just a few seconds. Rantaler to Tierney. Thought she might fancy trying something there. said she rolls it out to Thibaut. Thibaut forward to Ale. Back to Thibaut again. Thibaut with the cross.
A minimum of 2 minutes added time to be played.
So into 2 minutes. A minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Here it's with Swaby. Kept in play by Ale. Comes back to Tierney. Doesn't get the touch that she wanted on that pass. It'll drop back to Keys. Home sides on the attack at the moment. In the latter stages of this first half, the pass to Rantaner just a little bit too strong. Ramsey will get there first.
Really good response from Leicester, though, to that almost golden opportunity for Katie Robinson. I have to say, even though they've edged the possession stats, Everton, it would have been a cruel way to go into the half, because Leicester have been the more entertaining team to watch.
But that Robinson chance, by far the best chance for either side in this first half.
Yeah, and brilliant save from Leipzig, made herself really big.
Kitagawa gets the ball back. Cross that comes in is being chased by Everton. She might need some ice on that at half-time. She's only got a couple of seconds.
She's probably had a fair few of those dead legs in her time came in, and won't bother her.
Well, this is likely to be the last act of this first half. And the half-time whistle does go at the King Power. And Katie Robinson's chance for Everton, the best chance of a goalless first 45. Racing in on Janina Leitzig's goal. But the Leicester City goalkeeper stretching out a leg to turn it away. So at the break at the King Power, it is Leicester City 0, Everton 0. Van Egmond waits to get this second half underway. You can see from her shirts just how windy it is pitch side. What has been a stormy weekend. Swaby, who is part of that back three with an early free kick. It'll be interesting to see now when in this second half what changes for either of these sides. I suppose what needs to change, because I think we were impressed with Leicester, but it was Everton who had the best chance.
Yeah, and I think they really are missing Schnois and Gargo, and I know Robert Sorensen, won't want us using that as an excuse, but they just haven't quite got the blend right on that front line. Vignola, for me, is far more effective when she picks up positions on the right-hand side. That's where the Kitagawa chance came from. That's where the Katie Robinson chance came from. But with her out there, they don't really have anybody else to really lead the line and cause more of a concern for Swaby. She's been outstanding in the back line for Leicester, and I'm just watching her, and she's not really had anything to worry about. She's not got anybody really on her shoulder. She's not got anybody trying to put their back into her and hold up the play. She's having quite a nice, leisurely afternoon, which you don't often have as a centre-back in the WSL.
Is she making it look easy, or yeah? I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, there is that as well. She looks very composed, both in and out of possession.
Forward from Keys. Ramsey. Both head coaches would have had an opportunity to chat to their players at the break. will also, I'm sure, be thinking about the changes they will be making later in this second half to try and get a much-needed victory. As a reminder, no catcher Snuis in the Everton side, and hamstring injury means that she is missing for the visitors. Robinson more central that time.
Yeah, she made a really purposeful long diagonal sprint from the right-hand side where she's usually stationed, right through the middle, demanding the ball. So hopefully that's a theme of things to come for Everton, because they definitely need more of a presence in that central area. If that happens, she needs support from behind her, though, on the right-hand side.
With Van Egmond. Now Kane with a burst of speed. Tries to cut this back. Horton blocked by Mace to take it out of play.
That's exactly the type of pass that Hannah Kane wishes for all game. Plenty of space to attack in behind, in the channel, but she was just waiting for support to arrive in the box. Only Rantalar in there.
Corner early in this second half. Well, Rantalar wasn't fooling anyone by making us think she was going to lift that straight in. It does come in the end. Comes down, not quite off the head of Tebow.
I think they've identified, Leicester, that Everton only commit one player out to those short corners. It's only Hayashi who goes out there, so actually I think they can make more from that 2-on-1 scenario than they have been.
Ball now with Momiki. Forward from Holmgaards. Field from Fernandez. Out by Swaby. Intercepted on its way forward to Vignola. Vignola might still have a chance, and she does! Well, her persistence pays off, and Everton have the lead. Leipzig beaten for the first time this afternoon. Leicester City 0, Everton 1.
Well, fair play to Vignola, because she just keeps on going. There's a calamity of errors at the back for Leicester. They've been so assured so far in these scenarios. It's a really lovely ball into her. You can see she's trying to hook it over the top of the defender. Claims for a handball, but lovely bit of skill to take it away from Swaby. We've seen how deadly she is in front of goal. When she has a sniff, she will get her shot off. And against the run of play, you have to say.
Both Ale and Swaby trying to do something to put her off. But she did really well, didn't she? She kind of kept her balance, kept her cool, kept her eye on the targets.
And that'll do her the world of good as well, because we've spoken so much about how she just lit up the opening weekend against Liverpool, but been quiet on the goal front ever since then. So that does now make it 4 goals in 5 games for Vignola. Not a bad stat at all for your first year in the league.
Scored 3 goals against Liverpool, the 24th, 54th and 56th minutes of that 4-1 win for Everton. Katja Snuis with the other goal in that game.
She clearly has some good sweets at half-time, Vignola. I want to know what she has.
Well, Everton were thinking about making a change just before they took the lead, but they might just stick with the side that's on at the moment. Maybe just wait and see what happens next. But our understanding was it would have been a Maz Pacheco. So she will come on when the opportunity arises. Leicester now needs a response. We've had a goal in this game that, let me remind you, is not a fixture historically that has too many. And Maz Pacheco is going to be coming on once all the checks are done. So her chance to come on, just delayed ever so slightly by the goal that was scored. And now confirmation of the change.
Being replaced by number 33, Maz Pacheco.
And so Kitagawa, who started this match rather than Maz Pacheco, now replaced by her.
Yeah, she could maybe feel hard done by Kitagawa because it was her that got the assist that led to that goal for Vignola. I'll be interested to see if that was just purely a tactical decision from Sorensen prior to kick-off, because she's all action. Maz Pacheco chipped in with a lovely couple of assists in that win at Liverpool. She will get forward.
Maybe with Kitagawa it's about just managing her time, having had a hamstring injury. But a first start for Everton in the Women's Super League today. And I think she probably gets a decent report card after that, I would suggest. Block is by Pacheco. Taken out by Fernandez. Kaiman to take the throw-in. Comes back to her from Van Egmond.
Just coming back from an offside position, but they're definitely getting better and better with every round, Leicester. They look fitter to me than they have in previous rounds. And the reason I say that is because whenever they do threaten to attack, there's much more numbers up in support, much quicker. Very rarely do we see anybody look totally isolated. And the way that they've pressed together was especially effective in the first half. You've got to be fit and you've got to be disciplined to be able to do that.
Everton, who followed that win against Liverpool with a home loss against Tottenham, that their first match at Goodison Park since it's been made their permanent home. Then a loss against London City Lionesses before that Michelle Adjeman goal for Brighton in their last league fixture, a 1-0 defeat. Four defeats in a row would be really sort of difficult line of L's to look at, but they have a W next to their name at the moment as we head towards the hour mark at the King Power. So a couple of changes about to be made. A few more changes from the coaches. So Leicester with these changes, and this of course about their sides trying to get back into this game. So lots of changes, fresh legs, game changers, as they are often referred to be made in this second half. That's from Ramsey to Honga, forward to Fernandez. Foul throw that?
Yeah, and she deserves a fine from her teammates later on in the dressing room, because that was one of the worst throw-ins I've ever seen. Oh. Justice prevailed, I think, because Leicester felt they should have had the throw anyway.
Yes. Oh, it bounces kindly to Van Egmond. Now with Kane. And she was offside, I think, as she played in that ball. She would have seen that the referee's assistants had a flag raised on the far side.
Yeah, it's disappointing because she's looking right across the line, Hannah Kane, so should have done a bit better. But actually, she was probably doing what I expected to happen, which was watching Van Egmond pull the trigger. I think Leicester could do that more. Test Emily Ramsey.
She hasn't really had a huge amount to do, has she, so far?
No, and it is a big blow for Everton that they're without their usual goalkeeper, Courtney Brosnan, hugely experienced Irish international. Hasn't featured since their loss to London City Lionesses. So Emily Ramsey, she has come through the England pathway, formerly of United. So she's not without experience, but I'm sure she'll be nervous to have made this step up to being a starting WSL goalkeeper. And Leicester probably have discussed that in their pre-match meetings, but so far haven't tested her at all.
Goalkeeper is not a position you choose to change as a manager if you don't have to.
Again, we see the threat of Pacheco. She is down as a wing-back, but she loves getting forward. It's sloppy again from Leicester, who lose it in the centre midfield, and she just gets the wrong side of Cayman. Good strength as well.
Good block, yeah. So, changes made by Leicester. O'Brien and Payne, the players who are coming on. Utarantala coming off. And Chantal Swaby is also replaced.
Being replaced by number 27, Shannon O'Brien.
Shannon O'Brien comes on.
And number 15, Heather Payne.
And Heather Payne also comes onto the pitch. Happy birthday to Shannon O'Brien, by the way. Turned 24 today. You know what I'm going to say if she scores now, don't you?
Well, she did score, actually, when they last played Everton. It was a 4-1 defeat, so she won't want that to happen again, but I'm sure she'd like a birthday present for herself.
Has a goal this season already. They played in the League Cup as well, Leicester, beat Ipswich.
Yeah, and I think that result, really emphatic result in the end, comprehensive second half performance, will have given them a huge boost in confidence, which is maybe why we're seeing them so energetic in this match so far.
Yes, regardless of the competition, just get a win. Van Egmond felt that, but she's back on her feet. This free kick will be square on the Everton goal, but just a little bit too far out to go direct, I would suggest. Tierney and Kane wait behind this free kick. Looks like the referee's decided to put a line of magic spray in front of herself there for a moment. Does leave it to a two-player Everton wall. It's going to be left for Kane. Kane does lift it over the wall and it will bounce once on its way out of play. Leicester probably need to make more of the opportunities they get from set pieces.
Yeah, I think they do. It's a really deft delivery from Kane, but just a little bit too far ahead of Thibaut.
Ball is with Ale. Ale still going forwards. Everton able to collect the pass. Offside flag goes up. Now with Thibaut. Was mentioned about Heather Payne, one of the other players who's just come on for Leicester. A former Everton player, had 2 seasons with them, the Irish international. But now has come on to replace Swaby in the Leicester City defence. Home side bursting forward, chance to cut it back. Couldn't quite find its way to Van Egmond. An Everton leg is stretched out to kick it away.
You can hear the excitement from the Foxes fans with O'Brien at the ball. Down the right-hand side, she's full of pace. It was a good decision. Hannah Kane had attacked the front post. Van Egmond was waiting for the cutback, just not enough pace on the ball to make it there.
And the yellow card is produced for the second time this afternoon. And it's one of the substitutes, I think, going into the book. Heather Payne not long on the pitch. I would suggest that's maybe Pacheco rather than Payne who's got that.
Yeah, just bulldozed into the back, and I think saw the referee actually just insinuating that it probably wasn't the malice in the challenge, it was just more the regularity of them from Pacheco since coming on.
Seeing that Aston Villa have taken the lead against West Ham, who are having a tough start to this season, and yeah, just confirmation, because the replay showed that Maz Pacheco is the player who's got the yellow cards. Forward from Leicester to Kate, comes back to McLaughlin. And then Everton know to watch that out for a goal kick. 2 changes to be made by Everton now.
Double substitution for Everton.
A double substitution. So Hayashi, one of those who is coming off.
And number 7, Claire Wheeler.
And Claire Wheeler, the other player who is also making way. Tony Payne comes on. And Rosa van Hol, the other player who's also coming onto the pitch. Couple of changes.
And number 8, Rosa van Hol. Made
by the team who are leading at the moment, just over 20 minutes left to play. Rosa van Hol, a new signing, one of those many new signings for Everton this season. Champions League experience with Ajax. An all-action central midfielder is how she has been described. Now with Robinson. Robinson's cross is almost headed back to her by a Leicester City clearance.
Yeah, almost a hopeful cross. No one really occupying that 6-yard box for Everton, as we've said, really missing an out-and-out centre forward here today. Payne, though, is an exciting player to watch. Usually see her on the right-hand side in a wing position, but she might be the one now to go and take up that central role, give something for Katie Robinson to aim for.
6 years in Spain, Tony Payne, before moving to Everton.
And the most assists for them last season as well, so she's a creator. She enjoys bringing others into play, and she has got a good final product.
And she passes the ball to Robinson, gets it back as well.
Usually she has a good final product.
It might have been tough from there. Might have been a little tough from there. Vignola had the ball for a moment. She is the player who separates these two sides currently. As a second goes in for Aston Villa against West Ham, who are still waiting for their first points of this new WSL season. Leicester with the quick throw. So I asked you earlier about Everton and being aware of their recent form and how they would feel about, you know, prioritising defending over attacking. Now they've got the lead. Do they try for a second goal, or do they hold on to 1-0?
Well, I think they seem a little bit more confident after the goal has gone in. They definitely seem more tense before they managed to get that one through Vignola. But what I'm enjoying is the urgency already from the home side, Leicester, to get themselves back into this game. You can tell they're really targeting this one to get at least a point out of. So Everton will have to be wary, but the changes that Sorensen has made are not negative defensive changes by any means. So he has been proactive with his changes so far this season, and bringing on the likes of Payne. You'd have to think that he really does want to push for a second, because he's probably sensing that Leicester are pushing here.
Pacheco to take this Everton throw. Gets it back from Mace. Two players in her way, and so a throw in just a little bit further up the pitch. Fernandez. I don't think she meant to do that. Robinson to Vignola. Payne waits to her right. And she wins the free kick. Well, they wanted to take it quickly by the looks of things.
Yeah,
I think that whistle suggests that the referee's going to ask them to have another go.
Yeah, I think Ale will have her name taken for that one. Clear pull of the shirt on Vignolo's. Showed really tight control there, good turn.
So a yellow card for Asmita Ale.
She's got really low centre of gravity, Vignola, makes her really difficult to dispossess. She's got that close control.
Well, Mickey waits behind this free kick. Lifted in by Momicki, found an Everton head. And it was Stenovic, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely delivery. She's got a bust of gut to get back now, but between Homeguard and Stenovic, it looked like a really promising attack. I think it's Cayman just throwing herself in front of that one. Recognises that a player has got a little bit of a run on her, just does about enough without committing a foul.
With Mace. Robinson trying to chase that. That's her knee slightly in running into Ale.
Yeah, just an accidental collision there, but good from Everton. They played their way out of the Leicester press really well on that occasion. Spotted the 1v1 opportunity between Ale and Robinson, and Ale did come out after half-time with some heavy strap into that left leg, so he'd be trying to target that, Everton.
Leicester City fans, I think you'll know this, but I will tell you anyway. No team has fallen 1-0 behind in more Women's Super League matches since the start of last season than Leicester City. 17, now will be the 18th. And Leicester have gone on to lose 15 of their previous matches, only winning one of those and drawing one. They are the team that has been in a losing position for the longest time of any side in the Women's Super League this season. They are trailing now. Van Egmond, lovely cross from the right-hand side. Payne with the cross. I think Kane was maybe closest to it.
Yeah, what a move that was from left to right. Really good move from Leicester City. I think it's O'Brien in the end that probably is just regretting not sliding in on that, taking a gamble.
With Payne. Player open, it's Pacheco, if Payne can find her. The Leicester City captain gets in the way. Could the cross have been better?
I mean, way earlier, a couple of days ago from Payne, but Pacheco was all alone.
Ruby Mace behind this corner kick. It's a strong one to the far post. Now a free kick. Usual players waiting behind this latest set piece for Everton. Mace to play it in. Leicester will just take it out of play. They may be close to making a few more changes when the opportunity arises. And two players waiting to come on. Equalizes and Mouchon. Now with Robinson, Payne making sure she stays on side. Comes to Payne and she hadn't quite. It looked as if she was making every effort to make sure that that referee's assistant didn't raise his flag.
Yeah, again, just not on the same wavelength. It needed to go way sooner from Robinson in behind to Payne. And when you're trying to run at full speed, it's really difficult to decelerate and hold your run if it doesn't come. Leicester did well to hold their line.
So Hannah Kane, one of those who is coming off. Equalizes coming on. And Van Egmond is also replaced. Naomi Mouchon is the player who comes on for her.
Another big boost for Leicester, seeing Mouchon back in WSL action. Got some minutes against Ipswich in the Cup, but almost a year to the day that she tore her ACL, so great to see her back.
Here's with Payne, still with Payne. Kind of had to try something on her own there.
It was excellent skill to start with, but good cover again by Cayman. I mentioned her energy levels at almost 37. She's been almost everywhere for her team tonight.
Still sounds young to me. Not as young as Katie Robinson. Gives it back to Martina Fernandez. Into the last 10 minutes. Are Everton happy to just defend the goal they've already scored, or will they try for goal number 2? Comes to Mouchon. First touch since coming on, holding off Mace. Oh, and it goes in! Mouchon off the bench, and with her first touch, has given Leicester City parity in this game. It was a tight angle, but she strikes it past Emily Ramsey, and it is Leicester City 1, Everton 1.
Oh, what a way to mark your return from a horrible injury, Mouchon. You can just tell when she picked up the ball, she's waited so long to get back into action. There's no other thought on her mind but to take her on. She's even having to fight off her ex-teammates, Ruby Mace there. Emily Ramsey, arms in the air, but head down, gets a shot off. And you have to say, they deserve it, Leicester City. And I love watching the scenes on the bench. Hannah Kane has just been pulled off for Mouchon, but she's cheering and clapping louder than anybody, showing the togetherness in this Leicester City team.
Yeah, Mouchon was basically saying to those Everton players, you're not getting this ball off me, by the way. Picked up that ACL injury in October of last year. Made her return in that League Cup game against Ipswich recently.
Well, we knew there'd be goals in this one, didn't we?
Of course we did. We said it would be absolutely littered with goals. No, we really didn't. And the home fans are rather woken up by that Mouchon goal.
Yeah, do you know what? They've been urging their team to push forward ever since they conceded that goal, and Passmore has spoken very highly of them and has almost put out a call to them. We need you when we're playing at home. We really, really need you. It does have a massive positive effect on us, and they're really responding to that.
Well, that will make, I think, all the difference, won't it, for Leicester City in the last 10 minutes of this game to have got that goal. Having reminded you of the fact that Leicester do have a habit of conceding the first goal and then failing really to get anything out of games. But a goal makes a huge amount of difference just to the confidence, the energy levels of a side. And they're going for it now. Ball is with Robinson. Well, she's nowhere near where she would want to be on the pitch.
And it says everything about the mindset of this group, this Leicester group now, that they're not content with that equaliser. They don't just want to protect it at all costs, they really do. Sense of victory here, an opportunity for one.
Well, neither of these teams has drawn this season. Will it be 1 point each at full time today here at the King Power?
But even just picking up a point, if it does end this way, and look across the table and you see West Ham still without a point, they'll be hoping Liverpool as well don't pick up anything, and it just keeps them above that danger zone, a place where many people, prior to any games even kicking off, thought Leicester would be.
Ball is with Mouchon. Now comes into Tierney. Strike from O'Brien. Is there a late goal in this game? The ups and downs in the Women's Super League and WSL 2 just slightly different this season because, of course, of the expansion of the top flight. So maybe considered not as much jeopardy, perhaps, in the Women's Super League, because it will be a playoff between the team at the bottom of the table will play the team that finishes third in WSL 2.
Yeah, which has been really exciting news for any WSL 2 team.
Here it's with Payne. Into the box, the cross that comes in is lifted up into the sky. And then the header ends up with Leipzig.
But again, I think that result in the League Cup against Ipswich, WSL 2 opposition, really stamping their authority on that with a heavy scoreline, will have silenced a few doubters of Leicester City. As we said, many people already succumbing them to relegation this season, or being in that fight at least. So actually that result still, just for them, letting people know that we're still a level above that league below.
Leicester City, late chance perhaps here. Ball is rolled to a strike from Thibaut. And it's blocked out by Van Hol. It will mean a late corner here at the King Power for the home side.
Yeah, she's being urged to shoot by the home fans, wasn't she? Julie Thibaut up from the back, and I don't blame her either. Could argue that Emily Ramsey could have done better with the effort from Mouchon, as we said, inexperienced as a starting goalkeeper in the league. I'm surprised they haven't pulled the trigger more. Leicester from distance.
Let's see what Leicester City can do from here. Tierney to take. It's headed away by Holmgaard. Cross comes in. Eriksdotter might drop down to a shot from O'Brien that is cleared away, and back in again onto the roof of the net, or rather it looked like it might have hit the frame of the goal, because play is allowed to continue. And well, for about 30 seconds there it was very unclear exactly where that ball was going to end up. Leicester City were desperate to put themselves ahead in the last few seconds of the 90 minutes here.
Yeah, looked overhit, didn't it? The deep ball in, but actually just dipped at the final minute.
Forward to Robinson. This a chance perhaps to win it. Well, I thought it might, but she loses her footing, maybe loses her confidence slightly there, Katie Robinson.
I think you're right, but again, Eunice Cayman getting back just in the nick of time. And Barclays player of the match today. Big day for her, coming back to her old club. She left very late in the window to move over to Everton, but everything good that Everton have done today has mostly come through her. Very technical, creative player, but has been the one that's shown really good vision and positivity, and she's picked up all sorts of positions, both in the front line and midfield as well.
She's a difficult player to deal with, isn't she, if you're an opposing player? Sure, a player that her Everton teammates enjoy playing alongside. And Leicester's captain is being booked.
From a Leicester perspective, Cayman's had an excellent game, as has Sam Tierney in midfield as well. Yeah, she can feel hard done by with a booking there.
Yeah, she didn't look happy about it, but when would she? Why would any player be pleased to be shown a yellow card? But I think was not persuaded that that warranted a booking. A stoppage time free kick for the visitors. And well, Mickey will be the player to take it. Headed out to the clearance of Ale. And some strength that sees McLaughlin now picked up by Eriksdotter. And it just sort of bobbled as it was intended for O'Brien. You could hear, though, the volume from the Leicester City fans just go up there. They thought that there was something on there. It really looked like it, didn't it, until that last pass?
Yeah, Liv McLaughlin, who actually picked up the Barclays player of the match when they got that win against Liverpool. Leicester, really powerful midfielder, signing from Rangers. She absolutely left Ruby Mace for dead on the touchline.
Time running out for either of these sides to claim a victory. We won't rule it out just yet.
This will be a big result for him as well. You mentioned it being almost an audition. I don't even know if he wants the job, so pretending that he does, this is a big, big thing he can put on his CV if he does put an application form in eventually for the permanent role, is to get a result here. He won't be expected to pick up crazy emphatic wins against any of the top 3 or 4 given the turbulent pre-season they had, but they will be expected to pick up points against those in and around them, and Everton are one of those teams.
Did finish 10th last season, 10 points above relegated Crystal Palace. Time ticking away here. Lushon, it's an overhead kick from O'Brien, who's had a really positive impact, I think, since coming off the bench.
Yeah, she has. Audacious effort, but is the only thing she could do. After coming back from suspension, picked up a red card in the last league game.
Comes to O'Brien now. And this could well be it. The 4 minutes added to the second 45 have been and gone. Still we play on. A few boos as Everton get a very, very late free kick here.
Yeah, she's frustrated with that one. McLaughlin felt she got some of the ball and it's just put her side under a little bit of unnecessary pressure for probably the last kick of the game.
Mickey left on her own to take this late free kick in, added on time at the end of stoppage time at the end of this fixture. With Mamiki able to clear, and now Leicester will try and break. Tierney. And as Everton get the block in, the full-time whistle goes, and the points will be shared between Leicester City and Everton. Vignola to give Everton the lead, but then Naomi Mouchon, only recently back from a year out with an ACL injury, off the bench and with her first touch practically, holding off Everton players to strike it in past Emily Ramsey. And so with a goal for both sides, it is a point for both sides. It has finished Leicester City 1, Everton 1. Do you think that's fair in the end, Neil, that the points are shared?
I think it's fair in the end. I think Everton had the clearer cut chances. We saw the opportunity for Katie Robinson towards the end of the first half, but also they looked threatening with actually just pushing forward in the end. Pacheco could have been played in by Payne in the dying stages. Robinson had another chance and just dwelled on it. But actually, I think Leicester, although they had less of the ball, they played the more entertaining stuff. There was more purpose to their attacks. And I think actually looking at the body language of the players, Everton looked more disappointed, but that's probably based on their perceptions of how this game would go before kick-off rather than how it actually did go.
As you say, there were opportunities, weren't there, for Everton before they took the leads in the second half. And we can hear from the player of the match, Yuka Momiki, is pitch size.
To be honest, we should have won. Like, we scored first and we had a good momentum in the game, but like just one shot and made it 1-1. So yeah, it's frustrating, and yeah, it's frustrating about like not getting the points enough. But yeah, like it was good not to lose here against Leicester, especially for me. But yeah, just we need to keep on the next game.
How special was it? Because you got a lovely reception from the Leicester fans here today, and a nice game to come back to.
Yeah, like before the game, like they screamed Yuka Momiki like songs, and it made me so happy to come back here. I really wanted to score against it, but maybe next time.
Yuka, you are today's Barclays Player of the Match. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I think hearing there from Yuka Momiki, echoing exactly what you were saying, Nia, especially because Everton had taken the lead, they will be disappointed to only be going home with 1 point.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved that interview because she was saying thank you so much to the Leicester fans for the reception, but I really wanted to score against them, which is exactly how you feel when you're playing against your former club. There's a mutual respect, but also you really want to play well. And just looking at the body language of Sorensen, it doesn't look like the most positive of team talks. You can see it's just ended a little bit despondently, so you can read a lot from those situations, and of course every manager's going to be emotional, and the players are stepping in now to try and just wrap up their own team talk. But I think that's very, very telling from an Everton perspective. They're very disappointed with that result, but I actually think the performance wasn't really worthy of a win. I think Leicester really held their own. Their press was fantastic in the first half, and you have to be chuffed for Mouchon coming on. What a tale that is. What an inspirational story to anybody who's ever suffered a long-term injury. Coming on, grasping the game by the scruff of the neck. All you need is one moment, and I think they more than deserve their point.
Do you think part of Everton's disappointment then is not only did they fail to hold on to the lead, but maybe they'll be generally disappointed with their performance this afternoon?
And I think it's a compounding feeling that's happened to them so far this season. They would have been absolutely buzzing after that 4-1 victory in the Merseyside derby, which actually has raised everybody's expectations of them as a club. So when you don't pick up any wins subsequently to that, confidence in training starts to dip a little bit. People start looking at each other, they start questioning their roles and their valuation within the team. So yeah, it doesn't look like a really, really happy Everton camp right now, and that's understandable. They're a very established club, really rich club in women's football who want to be climbing up that ladder, but just not quite clicking for Sorensen's team.
As for Leicester, they're at home. It's important that they start to pick up some points at home too, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've said, they can really be targeting these teams that are in and around them in the table. And emotional scenes for Mouchon, being comforted by Hannah Kane, who's been through a very, very similar injury. But they'll be happy tears. She'll have dreamt of this moment. She'll have wondered at times whether she'd ever make it back onto the pitch at all, never mind at this level. So to come back in her first league appearance since those grueling months of rehab, away from the team, on your own, questioning your ability, I'm hoping that's a very, very happy interview right now.
I was going to say, she's going on the socials by the looks of things. She will be on the social medias. And she applauds the fans. It will mean a huge amount to her, and I'm sure her. And I think we're going to hear from the Everton manager now. So let's head down to pitch side and our reporter Joe Flemons.
Your assessment of the game?
Yeah, I think first half very, very even. I think we create okay. I mean, it's 3 big chances I counted where we where we should have taken advantage of them, but you know, still in the game it's quite even. We create the bigger one. I didn't feel they created anything, and then I think the last one we gave 1-2 up, but it became a bit too hectic, a bit too much back and forth. We should have been better at controlling that. So yeah, disappointed actually. I think we deserved it.
Is that frustration then it's more 2 points drop rather than a point gain today?
Yeah, for sure.
And in terms of looking forward, we've spoken before about that consistency that you're looking for in your team. Did you see more of that today?
Yeah, like I think that we create enough to win the game, and we should have killed it off earlier, and defensively looked fine. Like we're a bit open on the goal, but otherwise we were fine. So I can see consistency in our performance. It's just we have to take the chances when we get them, and then of course we can't give them a little sniff of it because they'll also be able to score.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you.
A disappointed Brian Sorensen. Thought his team, understandably, having taken the lead, should have held on for a lead. Knowing how vulnerable Leicester have been, let's remind ourselves how this game played out. And this was the strength from Vignola that led to Everton taking the lead. Ale and Swaby could not stop her from slaloming in to strike it past Janina Leitzig. She did really well there to just keep her composure, keep her balance, and keep her eye on goal. The more you see it, the more impressed you have to be with the control she had of that football and the confidence she had that she would be scoring her 4th goal of the season for Everton.
The goal for Everton was scored by number 18, Vignola.
That was Everton's goal to give them the lead. Mas Pacheco not long off the bench, able to test Leitzig yet again. But Mouchon picking up the ball not long after coming off the bench, holding off Ruby Mace to squeeze it in to celebrate a return to fitness, a return to this Leicester City side, and a share of the points here against Everton. A goal that will mean an awful lot to her individually as well as Leicester City, who would get the draw in the end. (1-1) thanks to the goal from the Leicester City number 9. Frame of the goal denying the home side another. It finished 1-1. So this is how match day 5 finished for sides at the top and bottom of the Barclays Women's Super League. A 1-1 draw between Manchester United and Chelsea on Friday evening. Arsenal dropping points yet again, this time losing 3-2 against Manchester City yesterday. 1-1 here in the end. Another win for London City Lionesses, another loss for Liverpool. Another win for Tottenham, who are doing really well under Martin Ho this season. And West Ham United still waiting to collect their first points of this campaign, losing 2-0 at home against Aston Villa. So this is how things look at the moment. Chelsea have dropped their first points but remain top of the table. Then Manchester City and Tottenham are on 12 points. Have to go down to 5th to see where Arsenal are at the moment, a side that certainly started this season hoping to be title contenders. Another win for London City Lionesses, the new addition to the Women's Super League, and it's 5 played, no points so far for Rhiann Skinner's side, in 12th in the table. So more games to look forward to next weekend, of course. But for now, from the King Power, as it finishes Leicester City 1, Everton 1, have a good afternoon.